Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the pilot episode of the Between Torp and Turret podcast. My name is Mori, and my wonderful guests today are Nick,
No.
Jasper. Jasper,
Hi.
say something. Very good. Goofy,
Hi.
and of course
I
Hamza.
should have said meow.
Mm-hmm.
And our first topic today is French battleships. Who has played them already?
Well, I have.
I have no.
Yeah, I think Goofy's
I've
the
shot
only one here who
them.
hasn't, right?
I've
No, I haven't
shot
either.
20 of them.
What? Jasper, I thought you had, sorry.
I didn't even get them in the boxes. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I actually got 2 in boxes. The car was very mad. Very mad.
Wait, which ones did you get?
I got a Normandy and I don't remember what the second one was because I never played it.
Probably
Was
they
it
got
tier
the-
5 or was it tier 7?
I don't remember because I
Or-
never played it. I
Or
just
was it
looked
the
in
tier
my
right?
board.
Or was it the tier 8 and will we have to like shun you for the rest of your life?
I mean, if she
You know
never
what it
played it, it's probably the tier 5, right? Like
Yeah.
the Britannia.
Yeah,
I
probably.
don't play battleships, so I just took it and I put it in my port. I sent Taker a screenshot. He got very angry, and I just never looked at it again ever.
Well, this
Very
is a lie. I've seen you play battleships.
The Scharnhorst doesn't count. It's a battle cruiser.
It's a very
Right.
big cruiser, that is true.
Anyway, you want to talk about the French battleship?
Yes. What is, yeah, Nick, I know you played the Lyon a lot, right? Are you up to Richelieu now?
Well, I haven't played it a lot. I've played like maybe 12 games in it. So I wouldn't call that a lot. And no, I don't have the Richelieu yet. But I mean, I've played against the Richelieus. They're absolute shit.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
was fun.
I feel like-
I just saw recently one tap a lot of cruises today.
I have a story
is it?
about battleships. So
Fucking.
I'm sailing in my room, and a French battleship shoots me, and I try to angle away, and I get flapped. And my friend says, "Look, listen, what the French battleship AP is weird. What you should do is not angle against it, because if you angle, it's more likely to pen you." I said, "Okay." So I lead the division because he goes somewhere, and then 2 games later, I'm playing Brune again, and a French battleship shoots me. So remembering the advice, I turned full broadside, and I explode.
Wait, which ship was this?
There
though?
we go.
Uh, I think they were
Like-
both cases they were Richelieus, but
'Cause-
still,
'cause,
that's
like-
my story. My experience with French battleships.
Because like the French battleships are very varied, right? You start off with the what is it, Courbet, which apparently is shit, but I never played because they're 3. Then or tier 4, yeah. Then
but there's
you
a Touran somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, there's a Touran somewhere.
But I don't
anyway,
know if the Courbet or a Touran is tier 3 or 4. Like,
I
one of
don't
them
have
is
any.
1, so...
I don't have any experience with the low tiers.
Yeah.
I got out of my first boxes, I got the tier 5 and the tier 6, so the Normandy as well. So I never even bothered with the Bretagne. Is the tier 5, I think?
Yes.
Yeah, Bretagne. So I played the Normandy. The Normandy is absolutely fine. It's fast. It has decent armor. It's just a battleship, you know, but it's fast, so it's nice. If you show too much side, you die. It's a battleship. But then the Lyon has its own character with its 16 fucking guns, which are all overpen for some reason.
Oh, yes.
But like you were complaining that you only get overpens in it, and while this is true, you get so many overpens that you still do great damage. And it's absolutely amazing to shoot at destroyers in that ship because you just see 16 fucking AP shells rain down, and you're going to hit one of them, and somehow it's going to be a fucking pen, which is great.
But if you get overpants all the time, why wouldn't you just switch to HE?
Because the HE isn't that great, and the thing is though that with that ship is its dispersion is horrid, right? So you have these 16 shells that just spread out like a fucking shotgun, and you're going to hit 2, maybe 3. And if you're lucky and the gods are looking down on you, then you're going to hit 6 and you're going to death strike something.
Yeah.
But
Exactly
but it's
my
inconsistent, right? It's inconsistent. The only consistency you get from that ship is by shooting the entire game and kiting away. And it's very good at that because it's fast. It has 29.5 knots, I think,
Yes.
as well.
Can I Well, so see, I've divisioned a lot with a French battleship because everyone's grinding it right now. So I've never played one, but from what I've seen, actually, one thing that the French AP is really, really good at is dealing with turtleback. Like, so the French
Oh yeah,
AP on German turtleback somehow does a really, really amazingly good job, right?
but
It's
the French have very good pen on their AP.
yeah,
It's the reason why you overpen the
probably
entire time.
sometimes too good pen. Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
if you're shooting a German battleship, you will do a
Uh,
fantastic job because the
yeah.
pen is just that much stronger. Um,
The other thing
Another
you
thing
have,
is that you mentioned kiting away. I've actually seen people use the speed boost for the opposite, just like press the speed boost and just charge in because you can like outrun destroyers, right? If they just don't you sort of charge in and then things die in your wake. But yeah, I guess that's
yeah, but if you are any sort of decent player and the enemy is any sort of decent player, you will get either torpedo to death or citadel to death because
well,
you
you do
still
it
have
after the destroyers are dead.
yeah
That's
because
why
you
I know this
still
because I've been told multiple times, go kill destroyers so I can charge in. Like, okay,
okay
okay, sir.
because
Will be your cruiser bitch.
your
Yes,
rudder shift
basically.
isn't good. Lyon is also interesting because even though it has 16 guns, only 4 of those guns are on the front, so you always have to show side, which means you play it a lot like a cruiser, just angling, shooting, then angling back, and just kiting away. And because of your speed, you can get away from anything that's scary. And it's why I like it, but it is kind of well, it is in that spot of tier 7 where you get a lot of tier 9 matchmaking, and it doesn't have any good AA. So if planes show up, you're absolutely fucked. But it's
I
nice.
disagree on that. Like the A is actually pretty nice. It's definitely better than Colorado. I think it's the second best BB AA at that tier, just
Yeah.
behind Gneisenau.
Only,
I
yeah.
think the Scharnhorst is still better, isn't it?
No, no,
No,
definitely
Scharnhorst-
not.
Scharnhorst doesn't
No,
have
no.
nice no favor.
Yeah, it says it said like Scharnhorst is way
Oh
worse
no,
than Gneisenau.
sorry, Duke of York.
Oh, I don't actually know.
Isn't the Duke of York all short range?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Has a lot
Anyway.
of short range.
I, yeah, maybe if you spec for it, I guess, but like, no, I wasn't impressed by the AA at all in the games I've played with.
No,
Like,
I mean,
really
even
not at
North
all.
Carolinas don't shoot down a lot of planes when you drop them, if they haven't spec for it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. But
And the North Carolina is really overhyped as well.
mm. uh,
Yes. Nick.
yeah, so my experience for the moment with Lyon is that it is fun and it is a good ship in a sense that you have to shoot a lot, but if you shoot a lot, you'll get consistent damage simply because you shoot that much. It's like one game I had over 100 shell hits, right, in a battleship.
Yeah. Just to quickly say what my opinion of Lyon is, it's a lot of fun shelling people with 16 barrels. I mean, there's just so much lead in there, right? But I feel like this thing is definitely the best against either long away cruisers, because then you can actually like get citadels and get normal pens, because the range is big enough, or against battleships that show broadside to you because you just fucking devastate them. Like, you won't overpen BBs, and you can finally get like more hits because they're bigger, right?
Yeah, we do the same thing like a Scharnhorst or something else does, right? You just hit
Yes.
midship, and if you hit 8 shells, that's overpens and pens. That's just massive amounts of normal damage, citadels or not.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm trying to play the Alsace as well. So I think I'm the only one here who played anything further than Lyon. And
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
sorry. I mean, I do have opinions about the other ships, but I haven't played them.
Yeah. So I think we'll stick with that for now. I just very quickly say what I think of Alsace. I think Alsace is a good ship, but it has the big problem of dealing with cruisers that are more or less close to her, because you can't reliably damage them. You will just get overpens. Like there's a completely broadside Atlanta in front of you, and you will overpen her citadel. Like you will just go straight through that thing. It just doesn't have enough armor, and you can't reliably hit below the waterline because the shells go everywhere.
Well, that applies to all battleships. You can't reliably.
Have you
Clearly-
played Missouri, man? It's
Clearly, they need to buff the tier 9 battleship to deal with the tier 7 cruiser.
ah.
Jesus, Maury, what the fuck is that complaint?
All right.
This is why you go spotter plane and range upgrade, so you can snipe them from 30 kilometers.
Yes, but you can't get a spotter plane
Then
on
you will
Alsace.
get
It's
plunging fire.
yeah, but you can't take a spotter plane on Alsace. You can only get the fighter.
Or you can still put on range upgrade.
That's true. Maybe I'm gonna try that actually. All right.
Mm.
Yes. Any closing thoughts?
Well, if you give me like one moment and maybe fill some dead air, I can actually give you. I can tell you one more thing.
Yes.
I have a closing remark.
Yes.
I like to shoot AP into broadside French battleships.
Ah,
Who
yes.
doesn't like?
That-
British
That's fantastic. Yeah.
British cruiser
Minotaur
AP especially,
I remember
right?
I got like at almost a 10k salvo shooting French battle. Like I think it was a Richelieu or maybe Republic. I'm not sure because both start with R, right? But I shot one of them in the process. It was almost a 10k salvo, and that just felt so good. But yeah, next closing remark.
Well, one thing is you say you prefer shooting AP in a battleship's broadside, but you play Minotaurs. So I mean, what else are you going to shoot in this broadside?
Torpedoes.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. But yeah, what I wanted to say was because I think, but I'm not sure, so I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, the pen isn't as good as, for instance, the Curvers, the Frederick at tier 9, but it drops less. Yeah. So
Yeah, the shells are way faster, right?
well, they're not exactly faster per se. They just lose less speed. The French cruiser AP has the same thing, where they have a lot less drag, so your speed is more consistent through your flights, which does a weird thing when you aim. Right? It's not as much of a parable, right? If that makes sense.
Hmm.
And I have noticed, especially with the Lyon, that the Lyon, it's pretty nice actually.
All right. So, getting on to the next topic of we have all, I think, heard of the changes to turtleback armor, right? Like we've heard how, and we've seen how you can devastate Hindenburgs at close range with the cruiser caliber guns in the middle of the ship. We've seen people Citadel GKs from like 10 kilometers. We've seen people Citadel Republiques from 20 kilometers in Des Moines. So
I have Citadel Republics at close range with Des Moines at 8 kilometers.
yeah,
I
So-
don't think the penetration should be able to get through the main belt.
So here's the thing about that, right? You say it's a problem with turtlebacks. I don't think that's true, because half of the ships that are affected don't have a turtleback of any like value. Like a Conqueror has an underwater citadel, not a turtleback. That is what makes the
Yes.
Conqueror good, and it's getting citadel. What I've heard, and if I understand it correctly, it's more of something to do with the drag of shells underneath water. Basically, when you hit a shell underneath the water, you lose a lot of speed and a lot of pen, and that seems to be lessened to a certain extent.
yeah, that's the
as
theory
for
that many people came up with, right?
as for like Kirk first and stuff, like because you can also just now pen a Hindenburg at 10 kilometers, something you like everybody always says you don't shoot at a Hindenburg because at that range when it's broadside with AP, because the only thing you'll get is overpens because of the turtleback, right? But now you can actually citadel them reliably with things like Zauguns at 10 kilometers, which are like straight flat, not like a Des Moines, which can still citadel.
Well,
Because
you could do it at 10
drops.
kilometers earlier. It was very hard under 7. And just yesterday in Clan Wars, I citadeled an enemy Hindenburg to death from 4 kilometers, I believe,
yeah,
middle of the
exactly.
ship.
So
That was
there's-
never ever able. That was never a thing before. I'm sure of
So
that.
there's definitely something wrong with pens, I guess you could say. But the thing though I did hear is like a lot of people say like curve first you can now citadel at like 10 kilometers, was it you said? But you've been always been able to citadel at curve first, right? You just need the right ship and the right shell arc, because I've citadel plenty of like curve first and stuff like that in Missouri, for instance, because you have dropping shells. The turtleback is mostly for close range and brawling.
Yeah, like we always knew that we could citadel German battleships, but only on very specific instances, and that has seemed to go away. So my question about that is, what do you think about that? Like, is it good for the game to have these changes, or is it not? Like, Jesper, what do you think about it?
It is good to be able to punish broadside cruisers, because before, when the Hindenburg angled, he took more damage while only losing half of his firepower. But now you can deal more. So the optimal way to play it was to just show broadside and getting double the firepower while receiving less damage.
Mm.
So now that doesn't work anymore, and this is how it should be, that you trade firepower to take less damage, not the opposite way.
Yeah, I'm kinda in that boat as well. Mostly with like ships like the Conqueror, right? That has never been able to be citadeled, which is just bullshit in my opinion. But with, for example, with the GK and the Republic, it's a bit too much. It's just like the Großer Kurfürst just has to show way too much side to be able to effectively angle armor. Like, it has to show side to get all its guns to bear, right? There's just, and if they take away that turtleback, they have to do something else to make it better.